It's very important to learn, listen, and respect what's going on in your life. You're in a point in life where you're just growing up. You're our future. It's right in this room. Pretty soon you're going to be teenagers, you're going to be adults, you're going to have important jobs, and the senior citizens or the older guys and older women will be relying on you. You're our future. I'm past the future already. I'm dependent on the young guys and the young women to make the right moves for us. We have tremendous technology out there. I look in there, I see computers. When I was in school, I didn't see any computers where you can look things up and actually have a question and get the answer out of that computer. And you can write it down and remember that, and you can study that. Because a lot of times when you go to school, you're not really paying attention to the teacher. How many people in this room don't pay 100% to the teacher? Okay? Put your hands down. How many kids in this room pay 50% of what the teacher's talking about in school? 55? 75? 75? Okay. You went to 10%? Oh, okay. You went to 10%? Sell at 20% though. We're at the stock market. What I'm trying to say, if you're doing 50%, 75% of listening to your teachers, you're not doing nowhere near enough. 100% is the only acceptable answer that should be given. You're in school to learn. You're not here in school to pass time. To pass time anywhere you want. While you're in school, take advantage. Listen to your teachers. Absorb what they're telling you. Take a test and get good marks on your test. Because I know one thing, when you get a good mark on your test, that gotta feel good. When you get a bad mark on that test, you can slough that along and say, I ain't gonna tell nobody. I'm not saying nothing to nobody. I'm not telling my parents, my friends, nobody. Just put it in a drawer with the rest of my bad scores. How many people in this room here, how many kids in this room here, when you get a good score, how does it make you feel? Make you feel good? When you get a good score? You feel rewarded from that when you get a good score on your test? Okay? Every time you get a good score, what? Okay, that's good. That you knew you were going to get a good score. Because you had confidence in yourself then, right? Okay? Is there times when you take a test and you don't have any confidence you're going to get a good score? And if you don't have that confidence, what do you think you should do? What do you think you should do if you don't have that confidence that you're going to get a good score on that test? You don't know? How about study hard? How about study harder and harder because you think that you're not going to get a good score, but if you study hard and really hard and you come up with a good score, then you're going to have confidence in your system of saying, if I study hard, I could pass this test. I did something that I thought I could never do. I actually thought that because I wasn't going to pass this test, because I'm not that good at it, that I was going to get a failing grade. But because I studied really hard and put extra time and effort into it, I got a better grade. I passed. Wow. Passed. Now you want to come home and get that test to your parents, and you want to tell them your story of saying, Mom, Dad, I want to show you this test score. It's not my best score, but I really thought that I wasn't going to pass this test. But I worked extra hard, I studied extra hard, I stayed up. I didn't watch this show, whatever shows are on. Instead, I studied, and I passed this test. Take a look, Mom. They're going to be so happy and proud of you. Their smile will be so bright. You'll feel so good about it because you're giving your parents good news, and you did a good thing because you studied harder. Because I know for myself, when I was going to school, boys, English was not good. We weren't good with the English. Boys aren't. But girls weren't good with math. So the girls would help out with the English, and we'd help them out with their math. Is there anyone here that has a subject that they're not good at, that they think they need? Okay, well, all right. Why don't you say, if you're having trouble with language arts, and go to your parents or one of your teachers and tell them you're having trouble with this subject, that you need help. Is there anyone in this room who's scared to ask for help if they're in trouble when it comes to a subject that they need to get help with? Is there anyone in this room that needs help in a subject that they just want to ask for it because you're stubborn or you're embarrassed? Is there anyone in this room? If there is, raise your hands. What about you? What is your name? Alejandro? Okay. What subject are you scared to talk about? Math? Why do you hate math?
Our teacher.
Yeah. You're saying he's not teaching math, and you don't like math, and you don't like the teacher, but what about the rest of the kids in your class? Are they passing that subject?
No.
None of them are passing.
No.
You mean to tell me everybody's flunking math?
Serious.
What are you doing in his class? Do you do math problems? Does he talk to you? Does he put you in a book?
Notes, I took down everything, but after a time you're going to teach. Just,
1 second. So he's not teaching, but you're taking notes down.
yeah.
Well, where are you getting the notes from if he's not
Because
teaching?
he leaves them on the board.
So you copy the notes down on the board, and you're studying the notes. And you mean to tell me, and when you study those notes, he's giving you the wrong notes that you can't pass one of his tests?
I would like him to go through it, but he doesn't.
Why don't you, did you ever ask him to go through it?
I could, but
No, did you ever? I could have been, I could have been the president if I really wanted to run for it, but I'm not. Did you ask him? Well, then you have to speak up, right? So what I'm trying to say to everybody is, speaking up is good, don't you think? Speaking up is a good thing. That's how we all communicate. If you don't speak up, none of us are mind readers. We can't tell. Well, with bad grades we can tell, but we can't tell what's really in your mind unless you express it and speak up. Speaking up is important.